One of the subjects of the Netflix documentary series, Making a Murderer May Soon Be Free. A judge has ordered Brendan Dassey be released with supervision. Dassey was a teenager when he was convicted of helping his uncle Stephen Avery murder 25-year-old Teresa Hall back in 2005. He's been in Wisconsin State Prison ever since, but his conviction was overturned in August after the documentary series threw into question the methods used to obtain his confession. CBS News Justice reporter Paula Reid joins us now from Washington to go over this. Paula, so why is Brendan Dassey getting out now?
Vlad, as you noted, back in August, his conviction was overturned. A judge decided that the confession that was sort of brought out of him by a consultant his original lawyer hired, that it was unconstitutional, that it was actually coerced. So he overturned his conviction, and then he needed to decide what happens while that conviction is being appealed. Should he remain in bars if he doesn't have a conviction, or should he be allowed to go free? And they took a look at his record. He's had very few infractions while he's been behind bars, just some minor run-ins with the people who run the prison. But overall, he's been a model prisoner. They believe he is not a risk of flight, so he's going to be released while they appeal his overturned conviction.
And so what happens? How does that appeal process happen? What goes on from this point on?
Once he's released, this is not a complete and total release. This is a supervised release, and there's a lot of conditions. He can't have a passport. He cannot travel abroad. No drugs, no weapons, absolutely no contact with the victim, Teresa Hallback's family. And then he'll have to wait for the judicial process to go forward and for the court a final decision to decide whether or not to uphold the overturning of his conviction. And if that is upheld, potentially there could be a new case brought against him. But the judge said that the state has very little chance of actually successfully convicting him again. Anyone who watched that movie, even if you have questions about his uncle's conviction, anyone who watched that documentary series, your heart really went out to Brendan, because it is clear, as it is documented in the court paperwork, he does have some mental limitations. He has some learning disabilities and things like that. And it did seem very clear that he did not fully understand what it was he was saying and what it was he was agreeing to.
So, Paula, for those of us who did see that documentary and who watched it with disbelief as we saw this young man being questioned by police, what is it that we, the public, saw, and the documentary filmmakers obviously saw it as well, but that the prosecutors and the police didn't? I mean, we're not lawyers, and we were watching this, everybody was watching it and going, wow, this kid does not, at least he's not being treated properly within his rights while he's being interrogated. What did they not see?
It did seem that way in the documentary. The way it was cut, it was clear to us that he was really being prompted, that he was being coerced to say certain things by this consultant so that his lawyer could cut this deal. And one of the things that this documentary did is really bring to light how that confession came forward, how that came about, and also his reaction. Remember, after he sort of gives that confession, his big concern is that if he goes to prison, that he's going to miss WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Some of the footage that they captured, it was really quite shocking. How little he really comprehended about what was going on. It's an important reminder that, people, especially young people with disabilities, learning disabilities, they need to make sure that they have competent counsel who is actually advocating for their best interests, where it didn't appear to be the case. Now, his uncle's case, that's a whole other thing. Vlad, you and I have gone back and forth on that before. I will defer to the jury that saw all of the evidence in that case and convicted him. We didn't see all the evidence. We just saw some of it with Brendan Dassey. It was clear in that documentary series he was truly the most sympathetic figure, and it appeared that his lawyers, his legal team, was not fair to him, and that was also the finding of the judge that overturned his conviction.
Paula Reid for us on this very interesting case that I'm sure a lot of people are going to be looking at and interested in. We appreciate it, Paul.